FBI Director Christopher Wray taking some tough questions from both sides, but especially from Republicans. Here's an exchange he had with the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, regarding the targeting of Catholics.
Any idea how many Catholics there are in America, Director?
No, sir.
There's a lot, over 60 million. What percentage of those are radical traditional Catholics, according to the Richmond Field Office of the FBI?
Again, that product is not something that I will defend or excuse. It's something that I thought was appalling and removed it.
And Congressman Mike Johnson of Louisiana asked Wray about the censorship of American citizens in the lead up to the 2020 presidential election.
Elvis Chan testified under oath in charge of this for you. He said 50%. He had a 50% success rate in having alleged election disinformation taken down or censored. That wasn't just foreign adversaries, sir. That was American citizens. How do you answer for that?
Well, first off, I'm not sure that's a correct characterization.
Comes right out of the opinion. You should read it.
Of his testimony. But what I would say is the FBI is not in the business of moderating content or causing any social media company to suppress or censor.
That is not what the court has found.
And California Congressman Darrell Issa asked Wray about potential FBI involvement in January 6th.
So I really need to be careful here talking about where we have or have not used confidential human sources.
Was there one or more individuals that would fit that description on January 6th that were in or around the Capitol?
I believe there is a filing in one of the January 6 cases that can provide a little more information about this, and I'm happy to see if we can follow back up with you.
And the top Democrat on the committee, Jerry Nadler, says this is an unnecessary hearing, that the Republicans are engaging in, quote, performance art in order to protect former President Donald Trump. But some of the members on his side of the aisle, they're also asking tough questions, which will resume just a few minutes from now during this quick 5-minute break. Back to you.
All right, Logan Raddick on Capitol Hill. Logan, thank you. And joining us now with more insight on today's hearing is former acting Attorney General and Newsmax analyst Matthew Whitaker. Great to see you. So, a lot to unpack here, but what's your takeaway, from what you've heard thus far? Is there anything that really stands out?
Well, there's a couple things, and I'm glad to be with you both today. The first thing that stands out to me is how talented of a witness Chris Wray is. He is very disarming. He doesn't allow his emotions and accusations of bad acts by the FBI to get in the way of his testimony. He knows that this is a high stakes hearing. However, he is also avoiding the toughest questions, and that is the targeting of American citizens, whether they're parents at school boards, whether they are Catholics in their churches, and then his answer to the domestic violent extremists, I think was, if you listen carefully, suggests that there's much more activity on the left than there is on the right. But he's, again, unwilling to state some of these obvious facts. So all that being said, it's fascinating, must-see TV, but I don't think we're getting the answers that we should from him on specifics.
Yeah, I mean, you've sat in that seat. You've been in the hot seat. You've had to testify before Congress, so you know what it's like. But certainly more than anyone, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was, a lot of people knew that going in, that perhaps it wouldn't be as, we wouldn't get the answers that you were saying. But, the fact that 2 years since J6, they can't answer things like, to your point, of human sources that may have been on the ground there. It is a skilled witness. Last time when he was there, he said he had to catch a flight. He had to leave early. We know he has a private jet, so kind of an interesting thing. We'll see what happens when they pick back up. While we have you during this recess, though, Matthew, let's play the clip between Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who went directly into the Biden family business dealings.
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
Well, you
does
won't
not
answer the
and has
question.
no
Hold on.
interest in
You won't answer the
protecting
question
anyone
about whether or not
politically.
that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you.
Yeah, Gates went on to say you can be blissfully ignorant. Your take on that exchange, does that further the cause for the GOP looking into allegations of influence peddling and corruption of the Biden family?
Yeah. I think there are millions of people that are very concerned about the influence peddling and the corruption of the Biden family. And those questions are very serious. The allegations and the evidence is there to at least pique someone's interest. And, you know, the fact that the FBI doesn't appear to have any intellectual curiosity as to what's behind these millions of dollars that were transferred both to the Biden family and around the 8 or 9 members that received Chinese, Russian, Ukrainian money, I think it is a problem for Director Wray. And the fact that he won't address it and say that these are serious, I think is a real thing.
Well, having said that, though, Director Wray, and I'm not trying to defend him, but he did acknowledge that there are problems with the FBI and that more work, he said, needs to be done to build confidence in Congress, among the members of Congress, and also with the public. Do you think that's a fair statement, though, to make?
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be a lot more confidence. Listen, the American people have lost, giving the benefit of the doubt to the FBI. It used to be, there was a time where you could trust what the FBI said, you could take it to the bank. And unfortunately, there have been certain members of the FBI that have eroded that trust, and so they no longer get the benefit of the doubt on these things. There are thousands of great FBI agents out there doing the hard work, and I'm glad that Director Wray addressed that and pointed to the important stuff that they are doing every day, and also the help that they give to local law enforcement. So all that being said, there are just certain things like political targeting that need to be addressed by Director Wray, and I think the Republicans especially are suspicious that those changes have been made.
Yeah.
Former acting Attorney General Newsmax analyst Matthew Whitaker, great to see you today as we continue to watch what's unfolding on Capitol Hill. Thank you, sir. See you back here real soon. Again.